welcome back to episode 2 of Beyond the Tap. We are back. Bongo, good to see you again.
It's been forever.
We have friends here with us.
Yes, we do, and I'm excited. We've had a good time so far.
So really quick, before we jump in, I'm not going to ignore y'all, but what I will say is, what have you been up to?
Man, I have been doing that quarantine 15 life. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I make a meal, I'm like, I deserve ice cream, and I repeat that. I work, and then I eat. And I ride my bike, so I guess, I don't know. We'll see.
It balances out.
Yeah, it's a new anaerobic workout for me, because I hold my breath when I'm dodging people.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's,
Yeah, what about you?
About the same. I actually sold my road bike during this whole deal and bought a mountain bike.
I saw that.
Yeah. So I'm trying to get out there and work off a little bit of the beer pounds here, but we'll see what we can do. So
that's awesome.
But with us today, guys, we have, if you are joining us on YouTube, you've already seen them, but if you're listening to the podcast, we have right to my left here, right to my left, why not? We have Matt Poe, and we have Kyle from Macon and Carson, RG Macon and Carson.
Yes.
Right on.
Which is Apple Brandy, ArkansasAppleBrandy.com.
.com.
That's right. So you guys, we're just going to jump into this.
Let's do it.
Because I'm super pumped for it. We've been waiting on our episode 2 forever. And it feels like forever, at least. It's only been a few weeks, but that's okay.
It's like 3 months.
Yeah, I know.
A few weeks. It's been years. Dog years.
Seen you. So our first episode of the show, if you haven't seen it yet, go back and listen to it or watch it. We interviewed Natural State Beer Company, a local brewer here in Rogers, and so that was a great episode. And now we have the pleasure of a distillery that has quite a rich history here in Northwest Arkansas, unlike us, who has a rich history of about 3 weeks in Northwest Arkansas as a show. But we've lived here for much longer, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about, let's, first of all, before we go into the brand, Matt, who are you? Tell us about you, man.
Well, I've been, I was born and raised in Fort Smith.
Okay.
Moved up here in 2007. I was in the ophthalmology field for...
Good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you can hear.
Okay. I was in the ophthalmology field for about 10 years.
Okay.
Taking basically images of people's eyes.
All right.
And that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
You are wearing glasses.
Yeah.
Did he
I'm
make
partially blind down here.
I understand.
It wasn't his fault, honestly. It wasn't.
I've got contacts that are like, really thick. So
Yeah.
Wait, so did he take photos of your eyeballs?
Yeah.
He did.
yeah.
Swear to God.
Okay.
That's how we
Many
met.
photos.
Yeah.
So it was like,
But just of the eyeballs.
it's like here's
I've seen
your eyeballs.
deep inside of Kyle's eyes.
Did you keep them in a drawer?
Did you catch? Did you stare into the void and did the void stare back?
Yes.
There's not much back there, let's be honest. It's pretty blank.
Kyle,
I am a blonde.
Yeah, tell us about you, man. So are you also local then? Or?
I am, yeah. I've been in Northwest Arkansas for, I can't do math, so how about 2006?
That's
I'll
good.
let everybody
That's
else do
good.
their own math.
We'll
Yeah.
say 14 years there.
Yeah,
I do funky
Give or
math
take.
too.
Yeah.
Looked around.
Yeah. And went to grad school at U of A. And graduated sometime mid-90s. Again, not doing math. Went to Auburn undergrad, man. But I am an Arkansan. I went to high school in Hot Springs. Man, I love this state. And as soon as my wife and I had kids and they were old enough where we could make a decision, said we're raising our kids in Northwest Arkansas because she went to Arkansas too for grad school. That's where we met. So bam, as soon as we could get here, we came back.
That's good, man. That's
I
good.
love that.
Yeah, it's a good story.
Bongo, you've been around here for a while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I've been 11 years, man. Time is flying. I think it's 11 years now. That's nuts.
I'll tell you, it's such a good area.
Hey, but
is.
you know what? I still don't have I'm about to be vulnerable. I don't have an eye doctor.
You don't have an eye doctor.
Yeah, like who
we know
should
a good
I go?
one.
I actually know
Yeah.
many.
Like
Okay,
I go
right.
home, I go to Texas to see my eye person, but I'd like an eye person up here.
That's like
So
a
I'm
long
gonna
way
call
to
them.
go for,
Yeah.
for an
So
appointment.
after this, we'll have a discussion.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we can do that. So then you come here. You both are relatively local. I know Fort Smith, you said, and you're back here now. So, yeah. So relatively local. And what's one day you just decided, hey, want to start up some brandy, or what's I'm going to jump in. Did you always like brandy?
No, not necessarily. I more or less liked the craftsmanship of distilled spirits.
Okay.
I always thought it was super interesting. And one day at the eye clinic, Kyle and I were talking, and he was telling me about a story that he heard of an apple brandy distillery back in early 1900s.
Okay.
And I said, well, man, that's really cool. If there's an opportunity there, I'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And that just took off.
Okay. All right.
So,
Kyle, what's your take on that story?
Oh man,
there?
it's a pretty simple story. I mean, I was hanging around at my church, and I was one of the youngest
where many
men.
drinking stories start.
Yes, it was.
Like,
and phenomenally, these are a group of really awesome older gentlemen that have been around this community in Bentonville a really long time. And one of them happened to mention this distillery right off the square in downtown Bentonville in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I thought, that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
And they gave me a little bit of detail. And then I, being the anal person that I am, I decided to just jet down to the Shiloh History Museum and start doing research. And I really got into it, and they really helped me out down there. And I had this huge wealth of information, all these stories.
Yeah.
And I was like, somebody needs to resurrect this brand.
Yeah.
We need to do this. And so, bunch of friends, a lot of people, a lot of experts in the community, a lot of people have come alongside us to try to help us kind of get through the menagerie that is becoming a distillery or engaging with distilleries. Mm-hmm. And so Matt's been right along there with me the whole way. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I've looked around here. There's not a lot of distilleries in our region, right?
No.
I mean, I know of one here in Rogers, but they're not doing brandy. I know there's the one that you guys go through, Huntsville, right? Mm-hmm. So they're over there. Is there?
I think there's 5 licensed in the state.
In the whole state.
Okay, in the state of Arkansas.
And I'm not sure how many of them are actually producing their own products.
Okay.
Right? Some of them are in brand only, but a lot of them are, now starting to make their own products from their distillery. So
yeah.
Obviously, Rocktown's a big one.
Yeah,
right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Smithworks and Fort Smith. I don't want to leave anybody out, so
No,
I'm just
that's
going to
right.
stop there. But there's a lot of great craft distillers in our state. They just might not be licensed.
Yeah. Okay.
So, of course, we are through Falling Rock, and they've been instrumental in helping us get our product tuned to the place that it is.
Yeah.
Something that's really amazing and very bourbon forward when it comes to our apple brandy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I was going to ask. That was going to be a later question. Was how would you describe kind of the build of it and stuff? So that's good. Now you've definitely piqued my interest because I'm a bourbon guy. So,
okay. Well, good.
Yeah. Now I have had the privilege of having your the Woo Fig vodka before, and I tell you, Bongo, have you had that one?
No, but I love everything fig. Like
Fig
even my home is filled with fig candles.
Get the
Really?
fig out.
Fig is.
What the
I'm
fig?
not friggin' figging you. I'm
You got to be figging kidding.
That was all right.
Figgin'
I was
kidding
figging
us.
kidding.
all right.
That was a good one. Well, I guess we should go ahead and
That's
open
good.
up
Yeah,
the
let's-
fig
yeah,
vodka.
before-
Let's
first.
do that.
Let's do it.
All right. Do you
Okay.
want the little one or the big one?
Big one.
I'm an adult.
I am an adult. So, in proper COVID appropriate pouring,
Yeah.
let's see if I can pull this off without touching anything.
Oh, okay. All right.
And notice how our glasses kind of rotate back and forth. That's
What's
just
the purpose of that?
Oh yeah, that's a good brandy snifter, man.
Okay.
That gets everything swirling around in there.
I was going to ask. So it kind of looks like, for those of you who can't see this, I'll describe it. But it kind of looks like a rocks glass, right? But
Yes.
it's got this little lump in the middle.
And
that
it won't
keeps this
fall
thing
over.
moving. It's like a weeble.
It's
They
like a
wobble,
top.
but they don't
It
fall
is-
down.
It is exactly like that.
Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
And what's really great if you drink too much and you have that in your, going
glass
around
sits
in there.
straight, doesn't it?
Yeah, it always sits straight. It won't fall over unless you shove it, right?
Yeah. See?
But it will freak you out if you're drinking a little too much.
Yeah.
like,
Let's not do that.
hold
Let's
on.
not push there.
Wait, what?
And
Just
I
kidding.
will say also, before we jump in here, I will definitely have some there.
And Matt's nicer than me. I only pour for the ladies.
I know.
Thanks.
See?
I like that.
It's
we're
the beard
friends.
connection here. That's
Yeah,
what it
it
is.
is.
So-
Wait. 2 seconds and I have a beard. Look.
Oh.
There it
Oh,
is.
my.
Well, see, I like
It
that.
is.
That's nice.
Cheeky.
It is.
I dig it.
Before we go any further, I do want to say huge shout out to our sponsors. For those of you who are watching us, you see this gorgeous set that we are on right now, and that is brought to you by EcoVet Furniture here in Rogers, Arkansas. They not only provided all the wood for us, guys, isn't that great?
It is so cool. It is so
Mike
cool.
and his team doing an awesome
They're
job.
great
They're
dudes.
amazing
Great
people, and
guys.
also they built this bar that we're talking on right here. So,
Beauty.
Yeah, and I know even Leica's getting into the excitement over here. She's barking at us, which is good.
I was really blown away by actually seeing it in person.
Yeah.
I thought it was just so cool. Those guys are super talented.
EcoVet, for those of you who don't know, they hire veterans. They go through and they actually, you don't have to be a veteran necessarily, but at the same point, that's a pride point for them, is hiring veterans that maybe come back and they're looking to jump back into the workforce. And so Mike and the guys over there, they bring them in, they give them all the training if they need it, or if you're ready to hit the ground running, go for it. But they build this beautiful furniture, and all this furniture, all this wood, actually, they sell it either as a built piece, or they actually just provide the raw materials, reclaimed materials afterwards. This all comes out of Walmart trucks that are broken down and stripped down.
Great Dane trailers, I think, right?
They're huge. They're wonderful. So this bar is heavy. It takes 4 people to lift. So
or just fun. Me by myself.
Or Bianca. That's she's kind of a beast like that. So
I'm 5'3". Don't underestimate me. Or do.
Maybe so. Because then you just throw that right hook and be done. So.
Just kidding.
And also over Bianca's shoulder over here, we have the lovely Tawny Town Winery, who they make some fantastic drinks. And I tell you what, as the weather is getting warmer out, have you had their frozen wines?
Oh yeah,
no.
They're fantastic. Y'all go down sometime. They've got actually, we just shared on our Facebook page today about an event coming up. That they do live music on weekends down there, and so right now during this time they're still doing it, but they kind of have to limit it, and so they've got a few tickets left for Saturday, so jump on that, take the wife.
I've been
out
wanting to
for a
go.
date.
I've seen a lot of cool pictures online.
Oh, it's good.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, they're frozen rosés and stuff like that down there. They got
rosés,
wonderful. And then also over my shoulder here, we got Natural State Beer Company. Wanted to mention them because, like we talked about them a while ago. They were episode 1 for us, and since then, there's been a lot happening. But I know they're growing down there. They're adding on some new staff and everything, which is great. So without the sponsors, we couldn't do that, any of this show, and also. We have some food with us today because that is on account of the great folks over at Growler USA. So a huge shout out to Seth the team over there at Growler USA. Going to be Uptown, actually, by the time this probably airs, which will be wonderful. Uptown Kitchen and Tap House. So what do we have? We got hummus over here. Hummus, we figured it might pair pretty well with kind of that nice...
It's a Mediterranean thing, right?
See?
Fig, hummus.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
So huge shout out to them. So we got the fig vodka.
Yep.
Woo Fig Vodka.
Woo Fig Vodka.
Because we had to go a little Razorback.
Well, no, there's no Razorback, man. It's a different word.
Okay. Oh, really?
It's an H. It's a
W-H.
Oh,
that's right. It's like whoo fig.
Fig.
Woo fig.
Cool Whip. That's it. Cool Whip. Yeah. Say cool. Cool.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
so
everybody.
So tell us about this. Yeah, tell us about this.
Right.
What are we?
So basically what you've got is a vodka made out of Louisiana sugar cane, distilled in Madison County at Falling Rock Distillery. And they take frozen figs that we procure out of Central Arkansas straight out of the orchard, straight off the tree into our freezer, and then haul to the distillery. And then they take these frozen figs and they infuse it into the vodka.
Okay.
And it makes something that is, in my opinion, amazing. And the reason I say that is because, man, you open it and it smells a little bit like a fig cookie. Won't infringe on any trademark rights there, but it does. And, man, it tastes kind of like that, too. A little bit like a fig cookie.
It's delicious.
But not too much like a cordial and not too alcoholic in nature. It's just kind of in the middle.
No, it's very smooth.
Yeah. You can make lots of different awesome beverages out of it. Mediterranean mules, Moscow mules, you name it, man. There's just a plethora of things. And pretty much anything you can do with rum, you can do with this, too.
Okay.
It makes a great, I'll call it spring and summer mixer. Yeah,
I already went to your website and looked at all the recipes.
Oh, did you now? Did you? Wow.
I was like, yes, I want to make all those things.
That's right.
But really.
And one thing that I really like, or we all like a lot, is that there was no artificial flavoring.
That's right.
So a lot of spirits, sometimes people will add flavoring afterwards to give it that extra taste, but that's actually, it's infused. So you get a distilled product, and then it sits in the figs. So that's to me, it's more of a natural flavoring.
Yeah.
So.
And I'll be the first one to tell you there's going to be some haze in it and a little bit of sediment, but that's fruit.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
So don't be afraid of that. I mean, it's not. It's a good thing.
I consider it like
legit.
a hazy beer.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That's just what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Now I got to ask why. So we started out with obviously the apple brandy.
Yeah.
But where do you move into to fig? I mean, obviously you said they are Arkansas figs.
They are
Arkansas figs. So you're big on local, I would assume.
That's right. So I'll just shoot everybody straight here.
Yeah.
We are trying to get as much sourced material as we can from this state or this region in everything that we make. It makes it more costly to do it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, our barrels that we age our brandy in, they're made from Arkansas white oak out of Hot Springs.
Okay.
It gives Brothers Cooperage. Shout out to those guys. They do a great job. Whoop, whoop. And so, but see, that's just one of many sourced things that you can get in Arkansas to create a craft distilled spirit that is regional or certainly local, because you know what they say, right? If you drink local, you're never far from home.
See, that's
Oh,
right.
right.
That's right.
So
Good
the good
bike
news,
ride from home at least. So
Yeah.
So, but the great thing about the figs is that, I mean, they're just amazing. They're grown in Central Arkansas. They're just, an older gentleman runs this fig orchard. It's been around for over 30 something years. And we were like, how can we find things that are different, unusual, that isn't mainstream, that pairs well with vodka, right? Because everybody's done a vodka.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty common thing.
a lot of different flavors out there.
There's only one other commercially available fig vodka that I know of out of Oregon.
Okay.
And shout out to those guys. I mean, they do something different than what we're doing.
Yeah.
But man, it's just a good, unique thing that is truly local produce, regional in nature. So we want to talk about the brandy, right? So what's great about the brandy is all the apples come out of orchards from the Ozark Plateau.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know we are a large producer of apples, and we have a rich history, right? Of
that's correct.
Producing apples here. I did my homework too, Bongo. so yeah, I know we had specifically things that are also named locally here with like black apples, the Arkansas black apples, things like that. Because there's a couple other brands.
Brightwater, that's right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different opportunities. But yeah, go ahead. I was just. That blew me away.
Yeah.
Coming here now, you don't see a lot of orchards, but we do have a big history of that.
So it's a great history because a lot of streets and roads and things are named after orchards, right? Especially in Benton County. But we were the largest producer of apples in the United States.
How big?
2 counties or 3 counties, including Madison. But yeah, we were the largest.
You have to tell them the story. You're a history
around,
buff.
children.
You
Yeah.
have to.
Let's do it.
All right,
okay.
history.
I've heard it probably a million times, but I love it every single time.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for giving me the leeway there. Because everybody goes, man, that guy's such a geek. Shut him up with the stories, right?
That's what's important to us is sharing the history of Northwest Arkansas
That's
I love
and
that.
educating people because no one really knows about the history.
Yeah.
And you talk to people about all the small links to the Apple industry, and it's just so cool to show people about that. So
Yeah.
and you're an awesome storyteller.
Well, thank you, Matt. So I'll start by saying,
and I'll just do this. I don't know.
Yeah. Just sit here with your hands like
We'll all do that.
like a
We'll
mild
feel
Macarena almost. Like,
what do I do with my
Hold this. Okay.
So the story as
No
we pick
distractions.
apples. So as the story goes, we were the largest producer of apples in the United States at that time, from the late 1800s probably till, let's call it, the early 1930s. Apple blight came, some other things happened, disease and such. So the orchards started fading away. But prior to that, I mean, we were making apple vinegar, apple cider, apple brandy, and of course, dehydrated apples for shipping all across the country, and of course, fresh apples, right? So, yeah,
you're just
all
getting
these
hungry down
things,
there,
I
aren't you?
am.
yeah, preserves, you name it. And so the actual industry of Northwest Arkansas until the 1930s was orchards, apples, right?
Okay.
I mean, and the largest apple distillery, I should say, apple spirit distillery west of the Mississippi was Macon and Carson Distillery, which was 200 yards down Town Branch, if you know where that is, right behind the courthouse annex.
Yeah.
Going towards Crystal Bridges.
Right off the square.
Yeah.
Right
I
off
live
the square.
I live right over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
or
And the
close.
pilings for the distillery are still there. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, the history is
Bongo, you got to find one and take a photo. That's what I'm saying. You'll find it piling.
Don't get in trouble. Don't trespass.
People are like, I'm in a woolly, or like one of those ghillie suits.
Yeah. Okay, great. I know a guy who has one.
So yeah, I mean, and it was there producing about between 200 and 250,000 gallons of apple brandy a year. Now you think about that in a dry county. Okay, number one.
Yeah, I was going to say this place was dry.
Oh, yeah. Couldn't sell it. Couldn't really consume it, technically, right? And you couldn't distribute it locally, so they were shipping it out by rail car. So you wonder why they have that old rail station in downtown Bentonville is for the apple industry and partially for the distillery. Right?
I have always wondered that.
Yeah, that's
no
awesome.
joke. I have always wondered why are there those train tracks going through. So
That's one of many reasons, right? It's not the only one. But they were shipping it out by rail. And, of course, and Matt loves this part of the story when I tell it, so I'll just go ahead. And that is the Apple Wagons with the local farmers full of produce would line up to sell their seconds, the rollers, the grounders, and all that stuff to the distillery because they didn't have to be first quality apples, but they made a good living off of selling those seconds to the distillery.
Yeah.
And they would line up around the square and they'd be backed up all the way over to Central.
We found some pictures and articles of that. It's so cool.
It is
so
cool.
Is that on your website?
At least the history is it where we link it to vintagebentonville.com. Those guys have been awesome.
Yeah, they have.
Shout out to them because they've helped us out with a lot of the history. So
and the photos that they've provided for the community are just amazing. So, and there are pictures of the distillery. I'll reach out here and just say, this is a wood lithograph, I should say, of the distillery, circa probably 1895 or something like that. So this is an image that we found and incorporated into our
distillery.
Of the actual distillery.
Wow.
That's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So I know if you're listening right now or watching or whatever, head over to ArkansasAppleBrandy.com and then and look at these photos. There's a couple of photos on there, and I know I'm stalking your Instagram right now as well because there's definitely you posted a couple images on there. Let me see. This one looks like it was 17 weeks ago, but you can see the apple carts on there lined up, and you see the distillery, which is actually the exact image that's on the bottle.
Yep.
And man, I tell you, that's fantastic.
I just love that you revived something.
Yeah.
I just love that instead of starting something completely new, you're like, let's just pick back up.
Well, it all started out to just be a historical preservation project. We just wanted to reinstitute the brand name and all that stuff. And then we started experimenting with ciders and Matt being the nice guy that he is.
You got something over here,
he can distill.
I have some cider.
Brew cider, I should say.
Okay.
Of the original wine that we made.
Okay.
So this was 3 years ago.
Grab it. I can grab it.
Closing on 4.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the brandy.
Oh, that's the brandy there.
Yes. So that's one of the final R&D batches of the brandy.
You want that up here now?
No, not yet.
Okay, not yet on that one.
That's
All
exciting.
right.
Stay tuned.
It is exciting.
That is a big jar. I like that.
That's a big jug of
It's
one of our
Okay, all right, there you go.
There you go.
So this is a gallon carboy jug, whatever you want to call it, and it has
A good start.
What?
So it's a good start.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he hadn't had all that yet,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just had
no.
Today.
So that is what we are playing around with, which is apple cider, honey, some sugar, brown sugar, and it's pretty much all organic and all from Northwest Arkansas.
That's right.
12% alcohol by volume, so it's a really good wine alternative. But essentially, we made this, and then we worked with the distillery to actually produce the final distilled product from the cider.
Yeah, the brandy. So when you look at this, what you're seeing is something called a sizer, right? Let's make this real quick and just say sizer is a Czech and East European thing, which is a combination of mead and apple cider.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what you're really looking at right there.
So I have to ask, because it's here on our bar, are we allowed to sample that?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good.
Please.
Because it's here. Why
That's
not?
right.
We got to... we got the... She's already ready down there. There you are.
What do you want?
I'll take... Here.
Yeah, I can take it in this glass.
All right.
This is delicious. I hate
Yes.
to chug it, but here we go.
All right.
And
So
that's for you.
so what is mead?
So mead is just basically the first fermented beverage ever in the history of the planet.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So
all right.
they make basically wine out of honey.
Okay.
Or a beer type wine thing
Yum.
out
Yeah.
of honey. That's what mead is. I'm not a mead specialist, so don't get me lying to you.
So now I'm also
There you go.
guessing this was this recipe one, or was this somewhere down the
No,
line?
this was
Stout.
somewhere down the line. This was
This was, gosh, this is probably 10, 12
yeah.
from our experimental sizers. Yeah. So we tried to make something that was the base that we could use to then launch and make the brandy from, and that was kind of the base. That was the base product.
That's a good base.
This is smooth.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 12%.
yes.
really
I mean,
Yeah.
You cannot taste that.
I know.
Not at
no,
all.
yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah.
If
At
I did
all.
not if I would pick this up, I would think that it was probably just like apple juice of some form.
Yeah.
That's sneaky. I
I
like it.
like it.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
I figured
Sneaky's
like it's
good.
sneaky. No, I don't know what
I like
accent
it.
that was.
I like it sneaky.
I like it sneaky.
For those of you just tuning in, we do love to go into random accents.
We like it sneaky around here.
Yeah,
We
we
like
like it sneaky. There's your quote for the day.
I want to
Oh my
hear
gosh.
an Irish accent.
Hey, you got it right now, dear. Come alongside me right now. Let's drink a few. Can you do that with me now?
I could do that with you.
See?
I don't know what accent that
What
was.
was that?
It
I
was
don't
hard. I
know.
lost it. I'm smiling
No.
too hard to get back into my Irish roots.
There it is.
Oh, so wonderful. This is delicious. So this becomes the brandy then. Is that
Once
what
it's distilled.
Yeah, once it's distilled then.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So, man. Bianca, what are you thinking down there? What's your
I
take
was
on this
just
one?
totally self-absorbed into this drink. I was like, I'm happy. This is delicious.
She found a
So,
friend.
so I have to
Yeah.
I have to tell you guys not a short story, but with my amazing wife Mallory, her mom Cindy,
Who's joining us, by the
yes,
way. So
yes,
she's out here in our studio today.
yes.
Hi.
She loves the sizer.
Okay.
So when they came here, I let them try it, and then pretty much every time we see them, she's like, "Did you bring any of the sizer? Any of that wine? I really like the wine." So
yeah.
Good.
yeah, so I knew I made something good when
Yeah.
my in-law was like,
Yeah.
"I want to drink that."
Yes.
I
Need
love
that.
That's
Now,
how you,
go ahead. No.
no, nothing. I'm saying that's how you that's how you seal the deal.
Yeah, that's like your proof in the pudding right there. Well, I was gonna say because I
Now
know
shaking her head, yes. No.
brandy does come from brandy wine or burned wine, right? I mean, that's essentially what the name translates from
It's-
way back in the day.
Right. It's a grape thing, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, and you can use any fruit to make a brandy.
Yeah.
It just so happens we chose apples
Yeah.
because it's local, right?
Absolutely.
And then it goes back to our history, and it kind of brings the whole culture of Northwest Arkansas, our culinary history would not be culinary history in Northwest Arkansas without apple brandy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is part of who we are. And
Absolutely.
if you think about the guys' names that are on here, certainly R.G. Macon, the family actually lives here.
Okay.
The granddaughter of
Still.
R.G. Macon is around.
Okay.
Wonderful person.
Is she involved with this project?
She's a
at all?
great friend of ours, and she's been extremely helpful. I'd welcome more help from her or
They're a
introductions
huge
to other
support
people.
for
Yeah, I
us.
mean, but that's
awesome.
they're huge supporters. They're just great people.
Yeah.
So, but nevertheless, I mean, if you think about it, man, it's our culinary history,
Yeah.
and it deserves to be brought back in the way that is respectful to our roots, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we've attempted to do.
Well, now I have a question because you said the guys' names that are on here. So we got Macon represented. Where's the Carson?
So, to the best of
that
our
a-
ability, from some research a friend of ours did,
Okay.
Carson was an individual out of Nashville who was an investor and a pretty big business person.
Okay.
And this individual basically helped the Macon brothers get started here. They moved from Nashville or the Nashville area to here because they thought, well, we're making whiskey in Tennessee.
Yeah.
We can certainly make a distilled spirit out of all those seconds and grounders and such in Benton County where they're making all the apples and dehydrated apples and stuff. So let's give that a go.
Yeah. Okay. Because I was curious about that because I did a little bit of, like I say, a little bit of research, and it was just like I kept seeing the Macon name everywhere, but then Carson was just very scarce. So
Yes.
Macon
that's really
helped,
cool.
or wait, Carson helped them.
Finance.
Macons make the bacon.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Came out a little slower than I wanted it to.
That's right.
But you finally delivered on it, so I respect that.
All good things take time to deliver.
Yes.
True.
That's right.
Indeed, they do.
So speaking of that, so walk me through the process of this. So like, what does it take to make brandy out of apples? Like, what's that time period like? How many weeks is it? Days is it? What is it?
So I'll start with the one piece, and I'm going to hand it over to Matt when it comes to the distilling part. But I'll just tell you straight up, if you've got apple cider that is unfermented, unpasteurized, you basically are giving that an opportunity to begin to ferment, right? And so as you're talking to people who are making ciders, our friends at Black Apple and other people that do that, essentially they're making the base for brandy. Okay. So you have to make really a cider of some sort out of apples in order for you to then begin to go into the distilling process, right?
Okay.
And so with anything that you distill, it is truly just a white liquor that comes out the other end. It's what you do with it after it becomes that white liquor that really generates the complexity and the flavor and all of the things that we're trying to do with the product.
Okay.
So you'll get an apple smell, right? But it might not taste a whole lot like apples straight out of the still, even though that's all that's in it.
Okay.
It's 100% apples. It's just
it's just a compressed kind of liquid from that.
That's
okay.
correct.
All right. So then you mentioned you age it in barrels.
Yep.
Yes. So we again get our barrels. We use small barrels to improve the contact space, because that helps infuse the taste of the wood and the char and the smokiness and the vanilla and the caramels and all those beautiful things that they use to make bourbon, right?
Okay.
That's the similar type barrel that we're using. We're just using small craft versions of that.
Okay. So is it like half the size of what? So like whenever I think of a bourbon barrel, about a fifth the size. Okay. So it's like the little guys that you can sit up here on the bar pretty easily.
10 and 15 gallon barrels.
Nice.
Yeah.
But that allows us to age it, a year versus 4 years.
Okay. Okay.
And still get a superior flavor and complexity from the wood infused into the blank spirit. I mean, that's really what it is. It's just made out of apples.
Yeah.
So a lot of the color that you see is actually from the wood. So every spirit comes out clear. And that's something that really surprises a lot of people when they see it for the first time. So just to explain a little bit more, so brandy is distilled from fruits. Whiskey is distilled from, corn, barley, rye, grains. Then you have rum that's distilled from sugar cane, tequila,
agave.
Yeah. And then vodka, there's a kind of a myth that it all comes from potatoes, but most of the people, it actually comes from corn sugar.
And it started from sugar beets.
Okay. Okay.
In Eastern Europe. Actually, that's how they started making it. It wasn't potatoes.
Okay.
And really,
I was misguided on that one.
You can actually pretty much use any type of grain or fruit to make a vodka. It just has to come out of the still like 195 proof and distilled multiple times. So we could actually use or make a vodka with our apple cider.
Okay.
So for this,
it'd be really expensive. You don't want to do that.
Very expensive.
Yeah, really don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How expensive?
Apple cider is a lot more expensive than corn grain.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
A lot more. But that's what's important to us is, we could have probably saved some, buying from a large producer somewhere else in the country or using different ingredients. But we love the local aspect. That's what's important to us. That's what is important to the community. So our cost is a lot more to buy the local products, but that's what's important to us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know you mentioned, so we've got the apples and the figs and things like that are different, because I'm noticing with these, the Woo Fig vodka is lighter in color than this wine that we're currently drinking. So, I mean, is that just from the wood? Because obviously you mentioned
the fig vodka was not set in any oak barrels.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's really what gives it. I mean, there's some artificial coloring that is out there, but this is from sitting in charred oak barrels.
We're not using artificial coloring.
Yeah, to be clear. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to be clear, there's no artificial. All right, good.
To be clear,
See, we got it.
So, I mean, do you guys want to try the brandy?
Yeah.
We'd
Are we
love
ready?
to. It's like
Are we
we're
ready for
talking
that?
about it.
Yeah.
We're talking about it
You
here.
can even get
I'm already
crazy
a
and
fan.
mix the wine
What?
with the brandy.
I love getting crazy.
And that's
like a whole
actually
had any
a
wine
French
left.
thing
Mm.
that they. Oh yeah, they
I
mix.
love the French. They totally know what's
They
up.
do.
I mean,
All
they
right.
just
I hear they're
know.
good
Sounds
kissers.
all right.
I don't know.
Well, before we do this,
I never
we're going
kissed
to
a
go ahead.
Frenchman. I wouldn't know.
We're going to go ahead and wrap up real quick, and let's cut to commercial, and you can go ahead and pour here for us while we're on commercial break.
I'm gonna eat some hummus.
But yeah, and let's have some. Let's divvy some of this out, guys. So,
Absolutely.
all right. We'll be right back here on episode 2 of Beyond the Tap, right here. All right, welcome back to another segment of the Sip of the Show, brought to you by Devil's River Whiskey. So, Andy, what do we have going on today?
Today we're going to do a really simple, also refreshing cocktail with Devil's River Whiskey called a Gold Rush. It's a modern classic from the world famous bar Milk and Honey that is no longer in New York City. Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm going to get out of your way and let you do your thing.
Yeah. So shaker tins, they're a tool that a lot of people might not necessarily have at the house, and that's okay. You're not going to get the exact same thing out of just tossing drink back and forth from one cup to the other, but if you don't have a shaker tin in a pinch, it will do you justice to do so. I'm going to work with a shaker tin. If you just have this one and a pint glass that sits in there, you can use that as well. But starting out with the drink, we're going to use 2 ounces of Devil's River Small Batch 90 proof bourbon. This is one of those super simple drinks that has 3 ingredients. The second ingredient that I'm getting ready to come into is 1-to-1 honey syrup. And that sounds crazy if you don't know what I'm talking about. All it is equal parts honey and hot water until the honey thins out. The reason that you want to thin your honey out into a syrup is because if you put raw honey into a cocktail and then add ice, if you've never played with cold honey, it gums up and it doesn't incorporate into the drink very well. So you just cut it with equal parts hot water and let it dissolve and then cool to room temperature. It's shelf stable for as long as your honey was, as long as you use clean container and clean water to make it. And then we're going to do half an ounce of lemon juice. I'm sorry, 3/4 ounce of lemon juice that I've already strained out. Again, if you don't have a press to get good juice, just squeeze it with your hands. The thing with lemons is you got a lot of seeds, so you're going to have to fish the seeds out. I went ahead and did that so we can save some time today. So there's our 3/4 ounce lemon juice. And then I'm going to fill this shaker up with a lot of ice. Give it a good shake. Now this is going to go into a rocks glass with a big ice cube. These big ice cubes are very easy to source at the house. Go to Bed Bath & Beyond, Bath & Body Works, get online, Williams-Sonoma. You can order them for cheap. Silicone ice molds, 2 by 2 inch cubes. You can get a 2-inch sphere. It's all really easy to make at the house. And no, they're not going to be crystal clear if you make them in your freezer like they are at the cocktail bars, but they do the trick, I promise. You're just going to strain it over your big ice cube. This drink calls for no garnish. The garnish game is a weird one, guys. If you're playing at the house, the only reason that you ever need to add a garnish to a drink is if it adds to the drink. If it doesn't add to the drink, you're wasting your time and money. Gold Rush. Cheers.
All right, so if you like what you're hearing here on Beyond the Tap, make sure and head over to YouTube and subscribe to us. Hit that little bell so you make sure and get the notifications every single time that we post a new episode here. It's really nice, right? What are you doing back here? And also, make sure and check us out on Apple iTunes podcast section. Subscribe to us there. And do you know we're also on Spotify?
Yes.
There's nothing in there yet, but that's okay. So check us out. If you really, really like what you're hearing here, then you want to head over to patreon.com and you can actually contribute to the show and making this the awesome success that it clearly already is. And throw a few bucks at us. You can earn some cool perks along the way. Visit patreon.com/beyondthetap today to check out more.
And to some of my friends who, bucks may not come so quickly to you, feel free to subscribe to us. That's important to us as well. Or review us. Give us 5 stars. You think we're 5 stars? I think we're 5 stars.
I think so.
And that's just as important. So follow us. Stay tuned. There's a lot coming your way.
True story. See you next time.
Beyond the Tap.
Good tunes.
I know, right?
I
Hey,
feel like
welcome
I should be
back,
playing
everybody.
a guitar after hearing that.
Are you not playing a guitar?
We
The
should.
people who are just listening right now on the podcast, you could be.
Matt
Just saying.
has a sweet
My air guitar.
Les Paul guitar.
I bought a banjo, and then my ADD got the best of me, and I gave up after like one day.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So what was the giving up point? Was it just figuring out the
It
chords?
was a lot harder than I thought.
Okay. All right. There are a few things in life that I have taken on, and
So I bought a harmonica, and then I gave up,
too, right?
and I just
It's a history.
Or
played as
Missouri.
I want to.
yeah. All right.
You took up harmonica?
I don't know if I took up harmonica, but I bought one, and I just freestyle with it.
Yeah, it is now. You are now taken
Yeah.
or tooken.
Tooken? You're tooken.
That's cool.
For Stucken.
Yeah.
So,
Super Arkansan. You're tooken for that there harmonica.
So
Anyways.
for those of you jumping back in with us here really quick, we are Beyond the Tap. I am your host, Brian Crum. With me is...
Bongo Montoya. I used to be called Bianca, but now I'm Bongo.
Yeah, given
Queen
name.
Bee.
Queen Bee.
All right. And in the studio with us today, we have Matt and Kyle from RG Macon and Carson Apple Brandy, a.k.a. ArkansasAppleBrandy.com. Check them
AKA
out.
Yum.
Delicious.
Only if we had like a laugh track.
Well,
make
you
it
know,
like
we do.
applause.
If only your guy was actually on the board right now.
Sound
so we
guys.
could do that. Hey, there's applause.
Yes.
Yeah. We got
Makes me
that.
laugh.
So
It's my
I feel
best
like I'm
Bill
on
Murray.
Jimmy Kimmel
Sorry.
right now, or Jimmy Fallon, one of
Yeah.
those. Anyways.
either Jimmy, either
Yeah.
of the Jimmies.
Yeah.
Hey, I
We're good
noticed
with that.
all of you still have drink in your cup.
Oh.
And did I rush?
You may have.
Because it was so
you didn't-
delicious.
I feel like no,
I
you
think
just
I like
pre-gamed.
your explanation. It was
Yeah.
really good, so I drank it right away.
Yeah.
I did. I was like,
There you go.
Does Bongo need some more?
I think
needs
Bongo
more.
does.
Bongo needs a little
needs
more
more.
juice. All right.
Hey, are we?
I will not touch
So
your
this is
glass
the
this
apple
time.
brandy.
All
Look
right.
how it's spinning.
So this is truly where you guys got your start, right? In this whole process. Now, did you guys distill this yourself? What was the process on that? I mean, you guys mentioned a distiller, right?
Right. So we work closely with Falling Rock Distillery
Okay.
out of Huntsville.
Can I
they-
distill at my own home?
No,
Like-
so
No, please don't.
that's one thing that's
Okay.
different than home brewing. If you distill it yourself, you have to have a permit.
Okay. All right.
And
Which I would imagine gets maybe a little pricey.
it gets really pricey, and it's hard to do. For some reason, the ABC board just does not want to give out distilling permits.
They don't like that?
No.
Wait, what if I have a bathtub in my backyard? I mean, is that not good enough, people?
I don't know. ABC.
Hi.
It's a long, complex story of Arkansas rules and regulations
Yeah, but-
fused with federal government
I'm
requirements.
just glad we're a wet county. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
amen to that. In
Thank
Kentucky, they don't probably have permits. Just kidding.
Who?
The Appalachian
What?
people?
I don't.
Just
They're
kidding.
Appalachian people.
To my Kentucky people, I'm sorry. I'm from Texas.
That's
Forgive
okay.
me.
There would be no Texas without people from Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. Remember that.
That's so true.
Oh.
Hey,
So Brandy.
that's true. Yeah, Randy. Let's talk about
Apple
booze.
Brandy.
People, now everybody
Yeah.
hates me
All
from
right.
Texas. I'm sorry. I
So-
love Texas.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, so what? Okay, so
What are you looking at?
you got no. I'm just looking
Oh.
really quick here. So we've
looking
we've
at the
gone
drink
through
that you
two
haven't-
of these.
Drink yet?
I'm just now curious about
waiting.
the third. But we're going
It's
to
the
talk about
same-
the apple brandy
The
first.
third is the same as the second.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you're
we got
saying
that.
something about licensing.
Yeah,
and-
licensing.
and- yeah.
Yeah.
And legalism of
Yeah.
all of this in the distillery.
Legality.
business. Yes. So,
I think
so
legalism is the church I grew up in, and I'm sorry. Whoops, did I go there? My bad.
I love jokes like
You
that.
went there.
It's okay. They're Christians. They're not listening to this anyways. Not
I
those
hope
kinds.
some of them are.
I'm saying those kinds.
Ah.
We're loving the faith too here. Man. You drink a little.
Yeah,
It's
believe
like I
me,
told my neighbor one time from Michigan. I'm Christian, but I drink.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah,
Well,
I just say I'm Episcopal, and they're like, yeah.
Yeah, see, there's your
Oh, I
explanation.
have a
right
great joke for this, by the way.
Go for it.
Okay.
Ooh.
Can we go there? Yes.
Wherever there are 4 Episcopalians, there's always a 5th.
Yes, I like that.
Ba-dum-bum.
Well, you know why you always
That was
Sorry.
good.
You know why you
terrible.
always take two
I love my
Baptists fishing
Episcopalian
with you.
friends. They're all good.
Because they won't drink.
Yeah, you know why you always take two Baptists fishing with you.
Oh, no, I don't.
Yeah, because if you only take one, he'll drink all your beer. So, all right. So, so
Shout
apple
out to all the
brandy.
Lutherans out there that like to drink.
Right.
Yeah.
Non-denominational.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I was like, I feel like I'm more non-dom these days. Or like, I just think of all the gods sitting around a poker table talking about things. Like,
Yeah.
there's like Buddha hanging out, and he's like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
shit's getting weird in my country." It's like, I get it.
And we're all like, have you seen America?
Are we about to go down this really
No,
weird
we
path?
shouldn't. We shouldn't.
No.
So the entrepreneurial spirit in Northwest Arkansas is strong. And I read something in your history page on your website, which is really awesome. People should check it out. That you all happened before Big Box happened, before Big Chicken, and before Big Trucking. And I love the way they all worded that.
Big.
So we should celebrate
Kyle
that.
came up with that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
well,
sure there's
you know.
tons of families and people who had created things, and I think those things should be elevated and celebrated. And cheers.
True
Cheers.
stories.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers.
tell us
Cheers
about
to
that.
all the entrepreneurs that came first, right?
Yeah.
Because
Cheers to the hustle.
there were apples, right?
Yeah.
There were orchards. There were people who were
Yeah.
making a living farming and
Farmers.
doing the right things and, raising their families and
Yeah.
just being good people.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, the Macon brothers who were in town, and they became a very successful entity for a scant number of years until Prohibition came to town in 1914. But they made a lot of money in between, and they did great. What
Yeah.
a great bunch of entrepreneurs. They kind of started that with an entrepreneurial spirit that has existed in this county since even before them. And it's a beautiful thing.
Now, I have to ask, because you mentioned Prohibition coming
Yes.
around. Now, obviously, for something like RG Macon and Carson, that's going to be a big punch in the gut, right?
Well, they became an apple cider vinegar manufacturer after Prohibition.
Exclusively
They didn't, but
those
they
legal
sold
products,
it.
right?
They sold the distillery to that group of people, right? Which,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
entrepreneurial spirit. Hey, man, we got apples. We'll keep making something.
Yeah.
It just can't
I gotta
be
believe
liquor.
there was something in there.
Yeah,
I gotta believe there's still somebody going
It's like pipe shops. They're like, we sell tobacco pipes,
tobacco
that are
smoking
neon.
apparatus.
Yeah.
And they have the signs everywhere. Tobacco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you want the tobacco pipe? You're like,
Yeah. Would you
Okay.
like this tobacco pipe or
It's-
that tobacco
This
pipe?
one glows in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would, if that was me during that time, I definitely would have found ways.
I
Yeah.
think that's where the backyard distilling came from.
Yeah.
I love bathtubs.
That bathtub you mentioned?
Yeah.
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 Well, Cary Nation had something to say about that. It came out of Kansas.
I saw that.
And actually settled in Eureka Springs. There's a cool little history about that, too.
So
Axe
who is-
wielding Cary Nation.
Yeah, who is Cary Nation for the listeners who have zero history prowess whatsoever, aka myself?
Well, I'm not going to go into the history of Cary Nation because I can't claim to know it. But
Yeah,
I will
no,
tell you that Cary Nation was somebody, an iconic figure that actually went in with other women
Yeah.
and went across this country trying to ensure that they stopped the men of this world from being bad people when they were drunk.
Okay, all right.
And there's
Which I
nothing
think
wrong
is a
with
fair
that.
expectation. I think that's good. 'Cause
And I got to give her a little. She was a little zealot about it.
Yeah.
In the way she went on, but I'm sure she had her reasons for doing it the way she did.
Yeah.
Because
Good
let's
intentions.
face it. I mean, you're drinking distilled product that's got poison in it, and it affects your brain.
Yeah.
And back then, perhaps the standards were not as high as they are today. And the next thing you know, you become a bad person from drinking too much.
Hey, and
perhaps
it
that
still
has something to
happens
do with it.
today.
I
Let's
feel
be
like
honest.
I feel
but-
like though, if you drink and hit someone,
yeah,
the alcohol didn't make you do that. You
No.
were just a bad person.
it just revealed who you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We don't know, and I'm not going down that path.
Yeah.
All I can say is
We're
Cary
gonna get
Nation
very-
was a zealot, right?
Yeah.
And I heard
so
an axe.
She would
What?
go into bars and smash them up with an axe.
Like-
Absolutely.
Okay, so it wasn't for people. It was for taking care of.
No. She's taking care of the
Okay,
liquor.
all right. That kind of scared me for a second. I was like,
Just start
Walking
axing
around with
people
a
up.
So I don't know if she came to Bentonville. I don't know if she had anything to
That's
do
neat.
with
Okay.
shutting down this distillery here
Yeah.
Yeah.
or the prohibition laws that started really in 1915 in this state. And if you remember, it was 1921.
okay, all right.
Right, with the Volstead Act. Or now we're going deep history, right?
Yeah,
But-
no, absolutely.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I was going to
so-
take it there.
Nah, I'm not. I'm putting on the brakes now.
Wait, what's
I
the
feel like
Thanks for
Mr.
reminding me.
I feel like
Wait,
Mr. Peabody
I
right
like
now.
it. What's the Volstead Act?
Okay, well,
I need to know this.
I'm not Cliff Clavin, so I'm not going to go there. Okay, but I do play Cliff Clavin on occasion.
But I did say it all on Express last night.
Yes,
All right, we're
and
good.
among other things. So here, cheers.
Cheers to that.
There you
Yeah.
go. So there's a lot of history in that, and it just so happens that Cary Nation settled in Eureka Springs, so there's a little Arkansas connection. Kind of interesting.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Makes me want to look that up. Some
Yeah,
more.
you should.
Absolutely.
I think you should.
Yeah,
That's
I will.
good.
So we'll have to check that out because I know Eureka Springs also has a very rich history, which
They-
a variety of things.
They
They have
never,
many tobacco pipe shops there as well.
and
A
they
lot of
never had any
tie-dye.
speakeasies in any of those hotels. I'm
No.
certain of that.
Definitely.
Especially if
Nah.
you take the tour of all of the tunnels.
We're haunted.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
All right.
Don't
So
even get me started on that.
really quick before we go any further, I do have to ask. There's a giant bottle next to Bianca down there. What's in the giant bottle?
I just
So,
made it. No, just
We've
kidding.
seen. Is this like?
So I don't know. What is
Is
this?
this the best jar?
surprise?
Don't, don't drop it.
Is that the carboy? Oh, okay.
What is it?
So that's the
Whoa.
glass carboy. So that is the last R&D batch before we did the official batch for on shelves.
Gotcha.
So
like,
that's the
this is-
recipe that we came up with the distillery that they said, okay, we all were focused and agreed, like, this is the batch that we want to go with.
So this is OG Macon and Carson right here.
For us,
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Yeah.
This is
So that's a couple years old
yeah.
that we've had just sitting around, and then we started sourcing the large scale apple cider.
Do you ever take a drink from that now and be like, hey, oh my gosh, is it going to be like more fermented now, I would assume?
No,
or
nope.
just
So I
kinda
had
level
oak chips in it until about 2 months ago when I took the oak chips out finally.
Okay.
But
I was going to say that's definitely darker than anything we have here
Yeah.
on the bar. That
And,
color
you know,
is, for
and
those
you-
of you listening, a little more like
and-
maple syrup.
you know, you guys are about beyond the tap, so I brought that out, and we could even share a little bit
Really?
just for you guys.
Hey, and if you
I think
touch
you
it, you
just-
get magical powers.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Bongo can now smell
Man.
colors, which
I-
is wonderful.
Is that what Kanye does? I don't.
I will.
I'm thinking pouring this with the cap that it's got on might be
Yeah.
I
challenging.
mean, my
That's-
napkin cap that I taped up so it could
I
still
don't know.
aerate.
That's a lot of brandy there.
I'm
So
excited.
I will make one note though that
Legally
looks,
distilled, too.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. No, that's great because I mean, but I gotta say it's pretty empty.
Oh.
Did you
It
guys
is.
have a few samples out of there?
We did in the beginning.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a
It wasn't
negative outlook.
okay. It wasn't
Yeah.
full.
Yeah.
It was about halfway.
Okay, all right.
And that's when we would do the sipping. We
Okay.
would let it sit for a while. That's
So you're
also-
really experimenting. I mean, you were trying
Oh, yeah.
because you had to figure out that process and be like, go back to the distiller and be like, hey, no, let's let this rest. Let's let this kind of
absolutely.
Like, oh, that's
we'd
nuts.
have to try different yeast.
Okay.
So there's tons of different yeast, and
Yeah.
so all the smallest change could really change it completely. So we would try, so many gallons of apple cider with some sugar, with a certain type of yeast, and we would age it, we would taste it, and we'd say, okay, what do we like or not like about it?
Yeah.
And we go back and do it again.
Did you do it with like different temperatures and stuff too, or
Some of the temperatures would change when it would come out of the distillation system. So typically it would come out of the still at a 160, 165 proof.
Okay.
And at that point, we would cut it down to about 120 proof and then put it in the oak.
Okay.
And
How do
then-
you cut it? Just with water?
Water.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
water. Yep. So it'd come out and it's way too strong to taste. So we would then put it in a little glass, put some water in it, taste it, and then once it would be completely distilled, we would then put it in the oak barrels or oak staves.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And our distiller is an incredible guy. I mean, he's a former president of an airline. He's very methodical,
Okay.
very focused on science and doing things the right way. And so he keeps track of all these things, the changes and all of the iterations and things of that nature. So we love that about him, right? Because he's anal like me. So
Yeah.
there you go.
No, absolutely.
He focuses on the specifics and all of the things that are required to make this a better product each time. So, yeah, I mean, we're excited about the quality because one of the things, Matt was going to go here, so I'm going to go.
Yeah.
One of the things that our distiller does, which is remarkable, is he goes through the process of actually saying, okay, where are the bad chemicals in the distillate?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they? I'm going to take out all of those bad chemicals before I do anything else with the product. And so they'll take samples along the way of pulling that garbage stuff out, the stuff that people talk about with bathtub gin, right? The poisons, right? That make you crazy and all that. So making sure all that garbage is out of there. Acetone is in an early portion of distilling. It's called the heads. Yep. And acetone is what? It takes off paint.
Okay, so I got to ask. So I've heard of the whole distilling, like especially when it comes to moonshine, things like
drink
that.
A bad batch,
drink it, bad
go
batch.
blind.
Yeah, yeah. So is that what essentially?
It's
somewhat
true.
linked to that?
One piece of it.
It's true. So, so you are supposed to discard the head. So there's
which is what I've heard.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so there's a formula depending on how big it is. You know how much to discard in the beginning.
Okay.
And usually people will use that for cleaning the distillation systems afterwards.
Okay.
Or they put it back into the next batch.
Now the head being like the foam.
No, the head being the first amount that comes out of the still.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So
Contains a myriad of chemicals,
okay.
including acetone.
So one thing that's interesting is that very large scale distilleries, they don't discard the heads because they're doing it in such a large continuous volume that even the small amounts,
it helps jumpstart the next batch.
well, and it's not enough to hurt you.
Okay.
Where we are a true craft distillery where we take out a lot of the extra, chemicals or different, I guess, liquids that could actually cause you damage.
Okay. No, that's good. I mean, it's great to hear. I mean, I would assume that has a lot to do with then why it is illegal to distill at home, because then suddenly you have a whole bunch of schmucks running around out there making their own, bathtub brandy or whatever.
Bunch of blind schmucks.
Exactly. Blind schmucks running around
blind.
here.
It's the worst.
It could also be very, very, flammable. So
Yeah,
if you're
That's
adding
a big
heat,
part of the issue.
Hey, Burning
with-
Man might work out.
Which is, rest in peace, I guess, right? Because weren't they kind of like looking at like
I don't
this
know.
could have been
But-
the last year for? I don't know.
Matt. But what happened? What? I interrupted you with something stupid.
it's okay. I don't even know where I was at. So
You were talking about if people did make that stuff,
Yeah, flammable.
oh yeah,
it would
it's,
turn
it's-
into dragons.
I mean, maybe.
Or burn the house down.
Yeah.
I would think that would.
So even some of the old moonshiners, they'll do it over an open flame, and if there's one crack
Ooh.
in it, at
It's
all,
going up.
Yeah, it's going up.
And that's,
Let's be honest. If you've ever poured rum or any kind of cooking sherry or something that is high octane in a hot pan, what happens?
Yeah, you got it, man.
Party.
I mean, it's no different.
So they bring the sushi to you, right?
like-
They pour just
It's
a little bit of.
Emerald Lagasse is like bam.
Yeah.
So I'm like damn.
So let's go
Still
back
gotta be
really
careful.
quick. We talked about yeast in there as well. So I know like one thing that Bongo and I have been learning a lot about is like with yeast, different things, and like I've done a couple things with a sister show of ours, but talking about like the yeast strain that you settled on. I know beer has a certain kind of yeast that you use. Is it similar to that same type of yeast, or what are the process? What process did you go through for figuring out the right yeast for this? Is there like a specific like brandy yeast for it?
Well, actually, in our case, I mean, we tested a couple of different types of yeast, and what we settled on was something along the lines of what they call a cider yeast, right? So they have a specific type of yeast that makes apple cider. Right?
Okay.
The hard stuff, like what Black Apple makes. So that line of yeast is what we're using, because essentially you're making cider, which we had the big bottle up here earlier.
Yeah.
And then you're distilling it into, brandy. So that's we actually tested champagne yeast. We did some of that. It's not bad. So there's different variants of yeast. I'm certainly not that guy.
Okay.
I can't talk about that in
No, that's
in any
fine.
detail.
Yeast
Sorry.
guy.
Not the yeast guy.
Hey, we got a yeast guy over in Siloam. We got to talk to him.
Be careful with the yeast guys.
I hear yeast infections are bad. So I don't really know.
Hold on.
Hey, well,
brother.
actually, they
Hello.
take very good care of their yeast, so there is no infection.
That's
So,
good.
Yeah.
You can have yeast
so that-
infections with brandy, with beer.
Yeah.
You can have all sorts of stuff.
You just pour it right down there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So just
Wow, we went down a trail.
just to go, let's go back to the distillation system, and so just the process, so you, people can understand if they don't know. So if you get a whole vat of, let's say, fermented wine or cider,
Yeah.
depending, let's say it's 10% alcohol by volume, you heat it up, And at that point in the distillation system, what you're wanting to do is you're wanting the alcohol to evaporate out of the other liquids.
Okay.
So if you have all this other stuff, that's all these other ingredients, you want the distillation system to get to around 150 to 165 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Because that's the temperature that alcohol evaporates.
Okay.
212 degrees when water evaporates. So you want it between 160 to 180, roughly around there, because you're wanting all the alcohol to evaporate. Goes up through the column.
Okay.
Usually goes through some type of copper to kind of help get some of the, byproducts out.
The impurities to it.
The impurities.
Okay.
Once it gets up to the top, it's still a gas. Up at the top, you're actually then circulating cold water, and the cold water brings the temperature back down, so it turns back into a liquid. So it
condensates.
So the gas comes up, it floats all the way up. You cool it off, and then it goes down into this little apparatus, and then that's the finished product before you cut it. And
gotcha. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you are evaporating off the just to repeat,
Yes.
just to make sure I got this,
Yes.
because
Cool.
I'm the new guy. But so essentially, so you're boiling it to, or you're bringing it, not boil, but you're steaming it up to the 160, 165. It takes all that alcohol, which is,
and it has to be
where it pulls
completely
out.
airtight.
Yep. So it is a sealed container, sealed process, and that goes up through the tower, and then eventually it
Cools back down.
condensates up at
Yep.
the top,
And it goes down.
and that is essentially what
Magic.
becomes
That's the
this.
spirit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And remember, it's white and clear. when
Yeah.
it comes out, all of it. Doesn't matter what you're making.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then you end up with, like, I know specifically with tequilas, you end up with your silver, your
That's right.
your, what, I don't even know. I'm
Anjo?
totally
Is
fudging
it
right now.
Anjo? I don't know.
Añejo is
Añejo,
your
okay.
is your
color?
1 year or more.
Okay.
So I know there's a reposado. That's what it is.
Reposado.
And Blanco, which is your silver, aged up to, what is it? I think up to a month. I think it's a month to 11 months or 11. Right
I don't
up
know.
to
We
12
can't.
months
We
is,
can't grow.
is
We can't
reposado.
grow blue agave here, so I ain't
I
making
know.
that.
That's one
We're
thing I'm
definitely
not
trying to
really-
get some mezcal stuff going on here, so we'll let you know when that happens.
Yeah, let us know.
Bongo, you give us the rundown of the game. What do you got here?
I draw 2, right? How did we do that last time? I don't know. Let's just wing it. All right. Oh, nope. This is not a wingable thing.
Oh, wing it.
I draw 2.
All right, so you
ask
got.
him a question.
Oh, you got. Oh, well, you can skip that one if you want to.
Hold
Whatever.
on. Where are the questions at?
I don't know.
No, I'm smelling colors.
All right.
Man.
Kidding. Hold on. Where are the questions?
Are you sure you took the head off of that then?
The acetone is.
Yeah.
I might have got my math wrong.
Wow.
I don't know.
Kicking in.
Hey, but really, where are the questions?
What's in that hummus? No.
Absent?
Wait, all these are the answers.
I think
Where
those
the
are all
questions?
answers. I don't remember any question cards in there, so let's just go ahead and.
Oh,
we can-
it was just like this or that, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Let's
Thank you
just
for
do it.
Yeah. Let me just.
Was there something about a goose? Is that what I heard,
Yes,
Bongo?
Duck,
Memories.
duck, goose.
Okay.
That's a game.
That is a game.
All right.
Oh,
So
man.
who should we start with?
So let's kick off with Kyle.
Oh,
Kyle, I
wow.
feel like
Here we
you're
go.
gonna be.
I'm on the spot.
You're gonna be good here. So the idea
Let's go.
is you have to make a choice between the two.
My.
Wait.
If you
My
had
children
to,
may watch this. You know that. Don't
that's
you?
okay.
All right.
You know, how old are your kids?
16 twin girls. Yeah. So
Oh,
gotta be
Lord, I
careful.
will pray to you right now, or pray
Yeah,
for
pray-
you right
pray
now.
for me.
That's- yeah.
I'm praying for you.
My
Oh.
non-denominational roots are coming out now. For sure.
All right. Here we go.
And I don't mean like in the Southern bless your heart way out there, like that's,
bless your heart.
I got an 8-year-old, almost 9-year-old boy, but
It's gonna be okay, man.
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
I
They're
can't-
awesome kids.
all right, good. See,
I
you
have
heard
no
it.
kids.
He's here
Girls,
to go
he
first.
heard.
Girls.
He just spoke up for you
Twin
right now.
girls.
It's awesome.
I love that.
All
All
right.
right. Option 1. No more using bags for anything, groceries, suitcases, etc.
Okay.
Or wear a slutty French maid costume whenever you leave the house.
What? I don't even know.
Oh,
What?
Which would
So-
be a bigger
I
inconvenience?
need to know. Okay. If
See,
you
this
had
is question
to,
to make
for
a
Matt.
choice.
Yeah,
Matt's
if you
answering
had
this
to.
one. This is good.
Yeah, if you had to. No
don't
more
know.
using
I
bags.
pass.
Yeah, okay.
Pass.
All right, Matt,
Okay.
you got
No,
this.
we'll let Matt have this one.
Imagine not having bags for anything.
Yeah.
And having to travel. Or
Are my eyes?
yeah.
Be all right.
That's-
Or so like you could do that, or you could just wear a slutty French maid costume whenever you leave the house.
Every single time?
Yeah. Yep.
Because that's what I need to know. Like, is this every single
this
time or
every
just
day?
like once a week? Are there
Maybe
more
this is every
outfits?
time you need
Twice
to go
on Sundays.
Maybe this is every time you need to go somewhere where you would use a bag.
I just feel like a slutty, what is it? Nurse costume?
French maid.
French maid, whatever it is. I feel like it wouldn't be that comfortable, so I might have to go with the no bags.
I love
Yeah.
it. That's good.
I had to think about it though.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
you can't use boxes.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But that's a little more
Silver lining.
inconvenient.
It would be hard for him to store his COVID mask in the French maid.
That's true.
That is true.
Deal.
They probably start making pockets for that.
Oh man, that's a whole cottage industry. Entrepreneurs, listen up. Here we go.
Hey, I got
By the
another-
way, she mentioned a great product there that every time you mention that, if you ever seen the girls walking down the street and they're like, oh my gosh, did you see my dress? Oh, it's so cute. It has pockets.
Hey,
oh my God.
my
yeah.
romper has
So that's it.
pockets. I have pockets.
See, she's got, and now she's
My wife,
talking about
she
it.
gets super
There you
excited
go.
every
He's got
single time.
pockets,
She's
I
like,
see
check
it.
this out. And it has pockets. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
guys,
But
we're just used to having
But I
pockets.
have to say, as a
Works for
dude,
me.
I appreciate
I like
that.
pockets.
I appreciate that for the women
Yeah.
because I
We
go,
hold you
I know
up.
how many times I use my pockets.
Yeah.
Thus,
And-
cargo shorts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
So
not a fashion
I don't
thing,
even
but still.
cargo. So
Anyway.
Well, that'd be one thing he could do without bags.
Yeah.
Cargo shorts instead.
See?
Right? Big pockets.
that works.
Okay.
All right, Bongo, what do you got next for us?
Okay.
What's in the chamber over there?
Hey, Kyle, are you taking this one?
Sure.
Well, he doesn't
Hope
have a
it's not
choice
worse.
now.
Yeah.
Now
You
we-
already used your
Now I'm-
pass
If
mark.
I had to
pass.
become now, you have to. So
All right, if you had to, be followed around by a gaggle of bloodthirsty geese, or take a year-long vow of silence.
so Canadian geese,
I already know this
bloodthirsty.
answer.
aka Canadian.
Maple thirsty.
Let's see here.
Honk a.
Canada geese or what's the other option?
Take a year-long vow of silence.
Man, I think that's virtually impossible for
I
me.
yes.
Same.
But say I know this. I know this answer.
But
know
those
the
geese
answer.
are just angry, man.
But those geese, I mean, they got to be on the run all the time. I'd be in really good shape, so that's a byproduct, right?
Yeah.
Here comes Kyle with those damn geese.
Carrying my drink really
They're
fast.
damn geese
Here I go.
right
The geese don't stop. They'll suck your blood.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Well, since that's kind of fictional, I go with the bloodthirsty geese because I don't think they exist. Much like the bloodthirsty rabbit in Monty Python.
Oh my
doesn't
gosh.
Hey,
exist,
we
right?
got-
Yes.
Supposedly, according to CNN, we got the murder hornets on the way.
Oh my
so
gosh.
that's, I mean, bloodthirsty geese is July, right?
You know what?
I mean,
Murder hornets are probably like, I just like bees. What's the
Alright.
big deal?
Yeah.
I like bees.
All I can say is pestilence is next, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have frogs everywhere and
Oh, yeah.
locusts.
It's already happened.
It's already happened, man. The locusts are all over Africa right now. Eating
They
all
are
our food,
actually.
Yeah, I
right?
There's
saw that.
what
That's the
17
thing.
year,
They could not
17 year
handle
I
that.
can't.
closure.
Don't get me lying to you.
I would shave
Fantastic.
my head. Because bugs get my hair. Anyway.
me too.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know. Yeah.
Let's do one more here.
Okay.
You
All right,
got
one more
down
question.
there?
Is this
All
for
right.
you?
This will
Yeah.
be for me
All right,
then. Why
Brian.
not? Because Bongo
Wait, I
is
have another
always.
good one.
Oh gosh, here we go. All right. If this goes wrong, it's all your fault, Bongo. I'm just saying.
It just gets cut into a blooper.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if you had to feed Snooky a Costco, well, we're going to change that to Sam's. Feed
Yeah.
Snooky a Sam's Club sized tub of peanut butter every day. Or you know everyone's future and it's not looking good. Can you imagine seeing your friend Steve? Oh, shit, Steve. It's not looking good. But I can't tell you. Or I
Hey, what's
could.
going on, man? How are things with you? Oh, hey, things are great. How about you? Oh, never mind.
Not good with you.
It's not. It's not.
Things are
good with
going
it.
so awesome.
Yeah.
Are they though?
Yeah, are
really?
they? You like that
Better
leg
take
of yours?
advantage of this day.
You know the whole feeding, the feeding Snooky thing.
That sounds absolutely horrible.
Immediately, all I could think of was that dang Carol Baskin. and,
Beat her to a tag.
Sounds like
Yeah.
a lot of work,
yeah, I just
yeah.
it's a whole.
and you don't get paid for this, right?
yeah.
Sam's Club and Costco size things.
I mean, those
like,
are big.
Those are like Cheeto barrels. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Not like oak barrels or Cheeto
Yeah.
barrels.
You know,
Yeah.
but I have to
I'm-
admit, I watched Jersey Shore
Yeah.
with my wife. You know, yeah,
I totally did.
Jim Tan Laundry,
Yeah,
GTL.
GTL.
Yeah, the new one that's came out.
Really?
Oh yeah, we're
There's a
still
new
watching.
Oh
one?
no!
Yes,
I didn't know there's a
like
new
the
one.
situation, got out of prison
He was in prison?
Yeah.
Of course he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally lost.
for tax
Me too.
evasion.
I'm like,
The
I need to watch
sitch.
tax
I
evasion
have
of all
no
things.
idea what
Yes.
you people are talking about.
That's silly. Like, he
I
just
know.
straight up didn't pay them.
Okay, yeah. So you guys need to watch it and let me know.
Jim
All right.
Laundry, not taxes. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Jim Taxes Laundry.
Yeah,
That's his new
change
TTL.
that up. Taxes in the
I'm
middle.
So what
clearly
was
in
the-
the
okay,
wrong
so we-
demographic segment of this
That's all
process.
right.
I'm so sorry.
We're
Yeah,
either
we're
feeding
good.
Snooki or what's the other one?
Or we're going to tell everyone they're dead.
No,
almost.
they're-
Oh, I'm gonna tell that one because I'm already a jerk anyway
love
sometimes.
it.
So
Well,
yeah,
thanks.
let's just do
Oh,
that.
man, we love you, bro.
You know what? I'm glad to know you.
Only
all.
because I don't know your future.
But you got bloodthirsty geese foaming behind you.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Foaming at the mouth.
If I knew your future and you were like becoming a millionaire, I would just be like, "Hey, let's go into business together.
Yeah. See.
Let's do this."
Yeah.
Don't ever watch Back to the Future 2 with your children.
Oh,
Whatever you do.
no,
It's
yeah.
a terrible movie.
Yeah, that's
Who thought
Good
that
to
was
keep
a
in
good
mind.
idea?
I don't know.
All right.
Good to keep
Well,
in mind.
speaking of great ideas, we're gonna wrap up. But before we do, if we have one last sip of something,
yeah.
what's on your palate here?
Well, why don't we mix up a little brief concoction?
let's
yeah,
do
you
it.
you tell us what's good.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
will-
well, see, we have great recipes on our website, which is www.arkansasapplebrandy.com, right?
true story.
Yeah, true
It's good
story.
stuff.
We got that. So,
And by
We've
the
got-
way, for really quick, for those of you listening, definitely go back and look up ArkansasAppleBrandy.com. They have the entire story, like the full story on there. That goes way back into the history.
We
of
have
this
like the
thing.
summary for the people that don't want to spend like
Yeah.
the TLDR
Yeah.
version,
20
right?
minutes reading
Yeah.
it, and then if you really want to know, there's the link to that. But
Yeah, and the mobile website is actually really nice, which
Yeah.
oftentimes I'm a snob about that. But I was just breezing through, reading along,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
I got to the recipes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
But check it out. There's a lot of cool photos on there.
Yeah.
It links out to you guys' Facebook, right?
Yep.
And your Instagram.
Face page and
Um,
InstaFace.
Yeah, InstaFace.
And once this is on the YouTube,
Yeah.
we will have that on.
we'll see.
We'll have
Like
this
the
link on
Walmart?
our page as well. My
So,
wife makes fun of me because I always say the social media and
like
the
that.
YouTube.
And
Yeah.
for those of the
Yeah.
like the Ohio State University.
Oh boy, oh boy.
are you
That
from
costs a lot of
Ohio?
money. No.
Okay. Just curious.
No, but I do enjoy the fact that when I went to visit there and visit some friends, I actually got a really big kick of just walking down the street and going OH, and then just hearing how many people go IO, and it's like
That's like the
no.
Woo Pig here.
Yeah, exactly.
Or MIZ.
It is. Yeah. No.
C-O-U.
Nope, not me.
Oh, can't
Nope.
do that,
That's
huh?
a curse word around me.
All right.
So
Damn it.
Awkward.
yeah.
War damn eagle. Let's
I'm
say
a
that.
rock jock Jayhawk,
War
buddy.
damn eagle.
I'm a rock jock Jayhawk. So
Okay. Now,
but
I have my own soundboard over here.
Can we do it? Yeah,
you have
sound
your
back.
own-
It's just this.
it's your face. All
It's
right.
my face. It's a
Good.
musical instrument.
But yeah, go check out their website, ArkansasAppleBrandy.com, and check out the history. Now, does it also shows on there where we can buy this brandy?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we have
All
our
the
locations of the retailers and the next batch of apple brandy, because I think we're actually mostly sold out already throughout Northwest Arkansas. The next batch is going to be released in the next couple of weeks, we're hoping. And again, this was only released to Northwest Arkansas.
Oh,
So, yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yep. So
being a craft distiller, large production is not our thing yet.
No,
Yeah.
that's good.
Okay.
That's
So,
good. You
you
got
know,
to build your voice here.
And-
we love the
handcrafted.
area, we love the community, we love the
That's right.
how much the community has supported us. So we want to make sure that we serve Northwest Arkansas first.
Yeah.
And then from there we'll expand.
Well,
I
it's
think
our
that's huge.
culinary history, so we have to serve it up here first to make sure that everybody, kind of goes along with the adoption of this whole idea, right? It's preserving our local culinary history. That is what we do.
Absolutely.
Arkansas is a hidden secret.
It
It
absolutely is.
It is. We
And
had some
we love it.
had some folks in from LA recently, and they were
Lower
just
Arkansas?
blown away. Yeah, they were.
Cross it?
No,
No?
like actually Los Angeles, and they were here, and they were just blown away by the beautiful scenery that we have here,
Yeah.
and the tourism, the things to do, the art museums, everything is just awesome.
Don't let them do what they did to Oregon.
I know, right? Don't do that. No.
All right.
But
we don't like smog.
now,
Just kidding.
and I will say before we take this, is there two things quick? Is there anything on the horizon? You don't have to tell, but is there anything kind of on the horizon that maybe is in the works for like the next product, or is there anything? Is it just kind of ideas out there, maybe, or is it
Well-
we just kind of really perfecting this, nailing it down first?
Our focus are these two things.
Okay.
However, we are working with some local brewers,
Okay,
and we'll see where that takes us.
fair enough.
There's a lot of activity with barrels these days, and we have barrels
Yeah,
that it doesn't have our product in it
Yeah,
anymore,
exactly.
right?
Once they get
what
emptied.
what do you do with those barrels? And
Yeah.
what can you do? And also, there's coffee that can be put into barrels as well.
interesting. Very
So-
interesting.
So there's some other opportunities with that. And so making barrels is a good thing.
Yeah.
Filling it with our product is even better. And then having it empty and using those barrels to make other things taste better.
Now
We only use the barrels one time.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Well,
so there
and-
are some that they use it multiple, but for us, we want the best quality
That's right.
possible. So we will only use a barrel once.
Okay. Now, really quick, because this is something I did forget to bring up earlier. I've noticed, to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong, everything you guys have here is gluten-free, right?
Oh, yeah. Good call.
Well
All of our
said.
folks that are
All the ingredients that go into making our products
Yeah.
are gluten-free.
Okay.
So sugar cane, vodka.
I've got to give a hat tip to Joel for prompting
That's
me a little
it,
bit
man.
on
He
that
did
one.
great.
'Cause
Great job. Good.
He made
Thanks, man.
sure.
Yeah, that was
because
such
that
a
was
good-
one of the big points we were chatting about during the break,
Yeah,
and it was talking
right.
about how people are very health conscious nowadays, and a lot of people like so I'm adopted, but my bio mom has celiac disease, so she's
Right.
very sensitive to gluten, and so things like that. She's always watching. She can't have most beers out
Yeah.
there because of the gluten content, and she can't have
That's right.
a lot of different things, but. I think everything here she can have, correct?
Absolutely.
Even the
because-
mixed cocktail.
Exactly, because it's lemonade and it
Yum.
looks like pomegranate juice, right?
Yeah.
So
It looks like it.
it looks like it, but perhaps there are other things in pomegranate juice with most concentrates, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I couldn't
Magic.
find the palm in short notice, so that's what we did.
Absolutely.
My apologies.
That's all right.
I'm going to
No,
blame the COVID.
Yeah. Hey,
that.
Yeah.
it's
Everything's
amazing.
gone, man. You can't get what you want.
Yeah, I felt like I hit the lottery last week when we finally found Clorox wipes.
Yeah.
First
Wow,
time
that's
in a
good.
couple months, I was like, "Oh my! Do I need to go buy a lottery ticket? Like this is crazy."
But you didn't throw in there that our distiller actually made hand sanitizer for a period of time.
Nice.
So,
I
yes,
love how people are doing that.
That's
it's
awesome.
a good repurposing of capacity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So what,
So what
we
are we
have
drinking?
here is
Sidetracked.
Yeah, we did really. So and people are like, "Really? What are we talking about?" I don't know.
Rabbit,
Clorox.
rabbit, and drinks.
Drink.
All right, here we
okay.
go.
So fig vodka. We put a proper proportion of fig vodka so you can truly taste the essence of that.
I like proper.
In with the pomegranate juice and a little bit of limeade. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is not a Mediterranean mule. This is a concoction that we made today because couldn't find basil, couldn't get ginger beer, and couldn't get real pomegranate juice because of apparently COVID.
Yeah.
I like how adaptable you are. Though. You're very
this is so
adaptable.
good, though.
Adapt,
So-
overcome.
Adapt and overcome. So what we have made is essentially what I would call fig lemonade,
All right. I'm for it.
affectionately
Well-
fig lemonade.
Cheers.
Before it goes any further,
Cheers.
yeah. Cheers.
Give me
Kobe,
one.
cheers.
Here you go.
Oh,
Just bring me a little.
You can just pour it in there.
There you go.
I'm excited about this.
Cheers,
Clean
guys.
glass. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Ooh, that's really nice.
That's smooth. I like it.
yeah. Ooh.
It's dangerous.
I want to
Yeah.
bring that to parties when
Yeah.
they happen again.
That's a float trip opportunity.
Ooh, yeah. I was just
Yeah.
on the river. Wow.
Absolutely. Well, thank you
delicious.
guys again so much for joining us today.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
This has been
Um,
awesome.
This has
Has
been
been a lot of
wonderful. Make sure, guys, if you're listening, guys, girls, anyone else, whatever.
Yes,
it's
everyone.
2020, so all inclusive here.
Yes.
Make sure and check out ArkansasAppleBrandy.com as well as GoBeyondTheTap.com so you don't miss any of our episodes coming up here. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us and hit that little bell so you make sure
Click
you
it.
get notifications.
I've always wanted to do that.
Do it. See, like
click
Oh,
the link
hang
at the
on.
bottom.
Hang
Is
on,
that
we
right?
got one more thing for you.
What?
That thing next to you.
Oh,
We gotta finish up.
Whoa.
Hey,
Kill it, man. Kill it.
headphones off. Don't forget that. So, yeah, we'd hate for
Kill
that
it,
to.
Matt. Kill
They
it.
took
But
it to the next level.
we got to slap our sticker on the fridge.
Ooh,
so
this
there
is
we
a
go.
magnet.
This is a magnet here,
Even
so it's
more.
good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
We
but
don't,
yeah,
we don't play around with the stickers, you know.
true story.
Love that.
Magnets all the way.
But thanks for joining us. Me and Bongo, we would love to
Thanks,
just,
Queen
again,
Bee.
say thanks for
Been great getting
jumping in here.
So fun.
Again, a huge shout out to our sponsors, Tawny Town Winery up here. Make sure and check them out on Facebook and online, as well as Natural State Beer Company over here. They are located in Rogers, and
Growlers.
beautiful setting.
Yeah.
Growlers,
Growlers,
USA. They
man.
got bringing the hummus over
During
here.
the break, I ate a lot of that.
My goodness,
I got to drink some of the beer he brought earlier.
fantastic.
It was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, it
and the
was.
burger with the egg on it.
Yeah.
Oh
See?
my god!
I'm telling you. And then it's Uptown is where he's headed, now,
Yeah.
which is so cool
Yeah.
because it's like another thing of dropping local
Culinary
roots, right?
heritage right here.
So they're going to get a little deeper. And of course, our set sponsor for this gorgeous bar, beautiful set that we have here, EcoVet Furniture out of Rogers, Arkansas. Guys, thank you again so much for tuning in to Beyond the Tap, episode 2.
Woo!
Wow.
Episode 2.
Here
Cheers.
we go, guys.
Cheers, everybody.
Salute.
Woo, woo, woo.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Brian.
We'll see you next time.